Welcome back, young coders. In the last lesson, we learned how to interact with page elements and learned the basics of DOM. Today, we'll make our website more alive with events and functions. That means, our code will run when we click, type, or interact with the page. Let's begin with what are events. An event is just something happening on your page. Some of the examples of an event are: a user clicks on a button, a user types into a form, a page loads, a HTML form element changes. JavaScript allows us to react to these events. Let's have a look at some of the common HTML events. The first and most common is the OnClick event. This event occurs when the user clicks on any clickable HTML element. The next is the OnChange event. It occurs when an HTML element has been changed. Next is OnLoad. This event occurs when the browser has finished loading the page. Next one is OnSubmit. It occurs when a form is submitted. The next event is OnMouseOver. It occurs when a user moves the mouse over an HTML element. There is a full list of events. You can find it in the description of the video. One simple event is OnClick. Here, when you click this button, JavaScript will run the code inside the quotes. In this case, it shows an alert saying, "Button clicked." Another event is OnChange. This one triggers when the value of something changes, like typing in a text box. In this example, as soon as you type something and click outside, it alerts you. Now that we know what are events in JavaScript, let's see what are functions in JavaScript. So, a function is like a recipe. It holds your instructions for the JavaScript to run later. You can write code that can be used at many places. Functions are the fundamental building blocks of every programming language. With functions, the same code can be used with different arguments to produce different outcomes. Now let's see how to write a basic function in JavaScript. First, we use the keyword function. It is used to define a function. Then, we give it a name, like greet or say hello. You can give it any name of your choice. Write the name in camel case without spaces. Inside the round brackets are the parameters. We can pass data to our function from here, though it's optional. And inside the curly braces, here we write the code that will run when the function is used. Defining a function is like writing a recipe. But recipes don't cook themselves. To actually use it, we must call the function. By writing its name followed by brackets, like here in this example greet with round brackets, it tells the browser to run the code written inside the function now. Sometimes, we want our function to work with different pieces of information. That's where parameters come in. Think of parameters as empty boxes waiting to be filled. For example, our greet function takes a name as parameter. When we call greet function with bitzy inside brackets as the parameters, it goes to the function and replaces the parameter name with the parameter value that is passed to it. Hello to bitzy. When we call greet with other name like Cody, it says hello to Cody. In this way, you can use one function for many users. A better way of implementing JavaScript events is using the AddEventListener function. With this, we don't put JavaScript inside our HTML. Instead, we select the element and tell it what to do when an event happens. This is the professional way you'll use most often. First select the element, then use AddEventListener. Inside the AddEventListener method, first write the name of the event, then write the function. We will see it in practical. Let's open our project. Here we were. So, now we will write all our JavaScript code in the external JavaScript file. So we need to link this file to all our HTML pages. Also, I am removing this alert of welcome from here. Let's add a button here before our main heading. We will use this button to see how JavaScript works with the click of a button. Inside this button, I will use the OnClick attribute. Inside the OnClick, let's write alert function. We need to use proper inverted commas here. When we write a function inside a double quotes, we need to use single quotes here. Let's see it in action. You can see that now the alert is showing on the button click event only. Now let's learn about functions. Let's write our first function here. As we have studied the syntax of a function, we will write the function keyword and function name. Then inside the curly brackets, we can write any code. I am writing alert function here. After defining the function, we need to call it. So let's call it on our button click event here and see how it works. You can see that now it's calling the alert which is inside our greet function. Now let's modify this same function to work with parameters. I want to give the name and age as parameters to my function. So inside this brackets, I will write name and age as my parameters names. Now I want to use these parameters inside my function. So, I will replace bitzy with my name parameter and 10 with the age parameter. Now looking at this whole line of code, can you identify which is a text and which is my parameter name? In the same way, JavaScript will not understand which one are the parameters. So, we need to separate our parameters from this text. To separate parameters with the original text, we use concatenation operator. Here the plus sign is the concatenation operator. It adds the text with the parameters. You need to write it like this. Before and after parameter name there will be a plus sign and text should be in double quotes. Now we have to pass our parameters from the calling function. Here inside the greet parenthesis, write the name and age you want to pass to your function. Let's see it in action. You can see that it is displaying proper message with you passed name and age. Let's change the parameters and see how it displays. See how a single function can be used in multiple ways just by passing different data. So we have understand now to write a basic function. Let's add some more magics to our website. Do you know what a dark mode is and how it works? Let's create a dark mode version of our website. Dark mode is a display setting that uses light text on a dark or black background. It's a popular option designed to reduce eye strain, especially in low light conditions, improve readability, save battery life, and provide a more aesthetically pleasing interface. You can write CSS yourself, but here I am going to use AI for my task. In your browser, go to chatgpt.com. Here we will ask AI to help us write our CSS in dark mode. You can write the prompt just the way I am writing it for perfect response. After writing the prompt, you need to paste your full CSS code below. You can also give special suggestions to your GPT. I am asking to use lighter shades of gray color. After pasting your style's CSS, press Enter. You can see that it is giving you the response. Wait for it to generate the full response. You can see it has also described how to use it in your HTML and JavaScript. Copy this CSS and paste it under your CSS code in the same file. Save the file. Now in your HTML pages, add the class name, dark mode, to your body tag. Now in your JavaScript code, write document.body.classList.toggleClass and inside parenthesis you need to write the name of the class. Toggle is a JavaScript method which will see if a class is applied. It will remove it or otherwise add it to the element. You can see the dark mode CSS has been applied to our website, but there is something strange. In dark mode, there should be no background image. Let's see it in our CSS. You can see that in our CSS for dark mode, it is written to set background image as none. But sometimes some CSS will not work due to priorities. So, in this case we emphasize it by adding the important keyword after the style that no matter what this CSS is important to apply. You can see now it turns out to be great. Now let's add a button in our navigation menu. I want a button to toggle the dark mode. Give it a class. Let's see how it displays. Let's style it to the right of the browser. Looking pretty cool. Let's add some padding and margins to make it much better. Now I will create a function with a name, toggle dark mode, and inside this function, I will move the same code we wrote for toggling the class. Now in my HTML button element, I will write an onClick attribute and call my function on the click event of the button. You can see how beautifully it works. You can inspect the HTML and can see that it removes the class on one click and then add the same class on another click. So, when the class is removed, our initial CSS is applied. When we are applying the dark mode class, the dark mode CSS styles are applied to all elements. This is the magic of JavaScript. Now we need to copy-paste the same code on all our HTML pages. Now all our HTML pages have the dark mode functionality applied. One more thing is left to implement. It is the AddEventListener method. Right now, we are calling the JavaScript function from our HTML files. Instead of this, we can use the JavaScript AddEventListener method. First we need to select our element as we have learned in part 21 of this course. So, I have selected the element by using getElementByClassName function. Once we have the element, we need to write element.addEventListener and then inside round brackets, first write click, as we will use click event and then write an empty function like this. Call your function here inside. Now remove the onClick attribute from all toggle buttons. Oops, why it's not working? Let's inspect. You can see that on console an error message is shown. When you click here, it will also show which code has error. So the error says that there is no such element. Because the element with ID node is only available at about HTML page and we are at index HTML at the moment. For now, let's comment this line here and see if it works. Hooray! We have learned to use AddEventListener Method as well. Now it's your turn. I want you to add a button that changes the text of your About Us heading when clicked. Also add an input box with an OnChange event that alerts you typed something. I am also giving you all the hints and practice materials in the description below. The more you do, the more you learn. Don't forget to comment in the comments section. In this video we have learned: what are events? Common HTML events. What are functions in JavaScript? How to write a function. How to call a function. How to use function with parameters. We have also learned about AddEventListener Method and implement the dark mode in our portfolio website. In the next lesson, we will cover simple form validation. We are very near to end our course. See you in the next lesson. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon so you don't miss any of our exciting lessons.